Hello, folks. Harry Hawkins here, LGBTQ plus coordinator at the University of Missouri St. Louis. Of course, purveyor of bacon sandwiches and lover of Miracle Whip. But that's actually not why I'm joining you today, and this is not a Rainbow Talks episode. It is actually Involvement Week here in the Office of Student Involvement, and today is the day for me to talk to you about LGBTQ initiatives. So, first off, this was originally going to be a live stream. Yep, originally it was going to be a live stream. Fun fact, it would have been the first ever live stream that we've done on our YouTube page for Office of Student Involvement, which is where you're watching this right now. But in case you didn't know, if it's your first time ever doing a live stream, you have to get YouTube approval. So, yeah, didn't get approval for that. So, in pivoting, because you know that's the word of the year, pivoting. In pivoting in 2020, I just decided to record a video. I love talking to you all this way. This works. It's fine. It's all good. There's no comments that I can read on the side or, keep it flowing. But, yeah, we can still get the fun on-the-fly 2020 vibe. So roll with it with me. We'll be kind of talking through some things that I just wanted to convey to you all, if not in live stream form, just in a video. So, as I said earlier, my name is Harry Hawkins. I'm the LGBTQ plus coordinator at the University of Missouri St. Louis, and my pronouns are he, him, his. It's very important to ask those. I'll get into that in a little bit. But first things first, I think people ask, what do you do besides making bacon sandwiches and Rainbow Talks videos? Well, those are very important things that I do every day. But I have the pleasure and joy of working here at UMSL, and I get to work with our faculty, staff, and students on just educating everybody about our LGBTQ community. And if you don't know what those acronyms mean, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. And of course, I was counting those on my finger and then I stopped. But that's what the LGBTQ acronym stands for. It gets longer. Sometimes it, elongates and then contracts, and it's always changing. I've heard people call it alphabet soup. It can be a little confusing, but LGBTQ, that's the basic ones. Like that's right where it's at as far as that goes. And so being, a gay man myself, I absolutely love that I get to wake up every day and educate people about myself and my community. I think I'm blessed to be able to do that. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity. I mean, I get to be on videos with you all and talk to you about things related to the LGBTQ community. So one thing I've had a great opportunity of doing over this past month is working with our Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion on developing 10 tips or 10 best practices that you on campus can do to affirm and recognize and advocate for LGBTQ people. I have to give a shout out to Marlo. Thank you so much. This was all originally her idea. I've been able to come in and do an LGBTQ edition of one. Thank you so much, Marlo. It's been fantastic. And so this guide that I'm going to be referencing and looking down at occasionally, because like I said, it was going to be a live stream, so I can technically look down. We don't have to make things edited and pretty, but this guide, the 10 best practices, is going to be coming out soon, so be on the lookout for it. It'll probably pop up in email or somewhere virtually, because as you know, we're not in person right now, but be on the lookout for it, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So, generate some hype, get you excited about this guide coming out. So, 10 ways to create a more inclusive campus or a more inclusive UMSL for LGBTQ people. The first thing is celebrate your LGBTQ colleagues and students. Yeah, ways that you can do that. Believe it or not, next month, October, is LGBTQ History Month, and we celebrate that here at UMSL every year. So be on the lookout for all of our fabulous events that we will be doing throughout that month. Happens every October. Be on the lookout for it. Also, some of you, I know a lot of people tend to know this more, but some don't, is that June, which we've passed that already, I know, it's hard to know what month we're in, but June, we're past that now, is traditionally Pride Month, and that's where cities across not only this country, but the world celebrate LGBTQ people, and it goes back to the Stonewall riots back at the end of the 60s and commemorating that day, which is viewed as the beginning of the modern day LGBTQ civil rights movement. So go look that up if you don't know more about it. But those are really two ways and two things that you can do to celebrate LGBTQ students and colleagues that we have on campus. Of course, like I said, be on the lookout next month. Next month, October, is LGBTQ History Month. We'll have great programming going on then. Be on the lookout for it. So the next one is a program that I've had the opportunity to help and facilitate with, and it's very important. And so some of you on campus, I don't know if you've seen these because we're not really in person right now, or maybe you've seen them in the past or you've heard about it, is get Safe Zone trained. Yes, UMSL has a Safe Zone program, and you may be like, well, what is Safe Zone? Is that like... it does sound a little funny. It's like, what is that? So Safe Zone is a program that, it trains faculty, staff, and students to be better allies for the LGBTQ community. You really learn a lot more, and it gives you helpful tips, helpful practices, and things that you may not have been aware of that LGBTQ people face every day. So I encourage you, if you haven't had the chance to do a Safe Zone training, or if it's been a while since you've done one, sign up, do it again. And then you get a cool sticker that shows that you have been Safe Zone trained. And just to put a little hype for our Safe Zone program this semester, we have redesigned our Safe Zone logo and sticker. So folks, be on the lookout. I know I'm going to be telling you that a lot. You're going to be doing a lot of looking out, but be on the lookout for a new UMSL Safe Zone sticker coming in 2020. So be very excited. I don't want to give much away. I'm telling you, it's a good logo. You're going to love it. So it's really cute. It's very UMSL specific. So be on the lookout for that. But if you've not been through Safe Zone training or you've been interested in it, please sign up for that. Soon enough, you will see an email go out with the Safe Zone training dates being announced and all the different opportunities for you. And of course, we normally do 1 or 2 of them in October during LGBTQ History Month. So keep your eyes out for that. A next best practice, as far as we make it to number 3 out of 10, is learning those best practices for supporting LGBTQ students. There's a lot of guides out there. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of things. I could just flood the screen with all the different resources. So if you're a faculty or staff member watching this right now, the internet, as you know, can be the bane of our existence, but it is also our friend. Of course it's our friend. I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now if we didn't have the internet. So with that, there's a lot of great resources out there that you can look up for how to support LGBTQ students. If you're a faculty or staff member, I would encourage you to go out there and look at those. GLSEN, G-L-S-E-N, has .org, has really good resources. If you go to the Safe Zone Project, they have a really good resource page. There's so many out there nowadays that it's very different than it was 10 years ago where it was hard to find things, but now there are tons of resources out there. So I encourage you to go look them up and look up those best practices as far as how that goes. And to go back to what I mentioned earlier about pronouns. Pronouns are important, and we have folks who may not match their outward appearance, and there's a lot more education and things and resources to learn on that. I would encourage you to read up on it. Sharing our pronouns creates a very inclusive environment for our trans and gender nonconforming folks out there. It's really important that we do that. So I try my best, and sometimes I flub it, but I try my best to always state my pronouns at the beginning of a meeting. And the little things that you can do if you're a faculty or staff member, have that on your syllabus. Have that on your Canvas page. I've even had it, I don't know, here it is right here. Don't know if you can see this, it's kind of far away, but I actually have mine. It's dusty, I apologize, but I have mine on my name tag. So when I wear my UMSL name tag, it has my pronouns there. So I encourage you to put your pronouns wherever you can. One that I almost left off here, put it on your email signature. It's very important. It's a huge... It's a big, small thing. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's a small step that you as a faculty or staff member can do to make certain aspects of our community feel so much more welcome. And I hear it a lot from our trans students on campus if they say when they see pronouns widely being used in emails or on name tags or in offices, they're just like, wow. It blows them away every time. And I'm like, look, it's UMSL. We transform lives. See, I got that in there. So yeah, I encourage you to look at those and always use pronouns if you can. And of course, the next one as well, number 4, is showing those visual signs of being LGBTQ affirming. I think I just talked about those a little bit. You know, I moved into the next one, just in case you didn't know. But yeah, pretty much the same as well. Same exact things I just went through. So number 5 didn't kill that one. I got it right here. Educate yourself. That kind of goes back to number 3 in a way, but educate yourself. Constantly be learning things. Our community changes a lot. I am learning new things every day. Our students teach me the new things all the time. So if you have the chance, read up on things, educate yourself, learn about this community much more when you have the opportunity. Attend LGBTQ History Month events. They're all going to be virtual for the most part. So you can jump in and participate anytime. If there's any type of educational activities happening on campus or external in St. Louis, do it. Our community is so rich. There's so much to our community that there is to learn. So educate yourself when you have the opportunity. We are an institution of higher learning, so I will always encourage you to be learning more about not only your passions, your field of study, but also about our different cultural communities, LGBTQ being no different. Get out there and learn, folks. So number 6, following up with more learning, like I said, we're an institution of learning, so always going to be doing that. But learn about the issues, laws, and policies that impact LGBTQ people. It's in the news a lot. Over the summer, we did have a great victory with the Supreme Court ruling in regards to employment law with LGBTQ people. Believe it or not, a lot of folks did not know this up until this summer, actually. It was legal to fire someone for being LGBTQ. Yep. I will repeat that again. Up until this summer, it was legal to fire someone for being LGBTQ. Now, I've always said, and I'll say it again, that being an LGBTQ plus coordinator here at UMSL is a wonderful place. UMSL obviously does not discriminate on sexual orientation or gender identity, and it would be quite ironic to have an LGBTQ plus coordinator and fire him for being gay. But jokes aside, it was legal in this country up until this summer, and those cases still happened. I would hear about them all the time in my previous job, and occasionally here at this job as well. It was definitely a dynamic in our community, and so now that has changed. But there are still things out there that do need changing, and hate crimes is a big one. Hate crimes law being updated has happened, but not at the state level in many cases. And I could go on and on and on about all the different laws and policies in our country that we need to change to be a more inclusive society and include LGBTQ people. But as I've said, read up on those, learn a little bit more. A great resource to learn about the latest things is hrc.org. Go visit them. They will give you up-to-date information on the advocacy efforts that are going on for LGBTQ people when it comes to the law and policies in our country. But we've made some strides. We've done some good things, but there's still a lot more to do. So read up on those. The next one, learn about the campus community and resources that we have. Here's one. I'm here. That's why I'm talking right now. We also have our LGBTQ student organization on campus, PRISM. If you have an opportunity to virtually attend a PRISM meeting, or when we're back in person, to attend one in person, or they also host events from time to time, check it out. Stop on in. They would love to have you. They're a friendly group. I've had the pleasure of serving as their advisor for 3 years, and I can tell you, they're fantastic. So check out PRISM if you have an opportunity to do so. The next one, and we're at number 8, by the way. I realize I've not been naming the numbers along this time, but if you've been counting at home, we're at number 8. Also, a good chance for me to hydrate. Yes, stay hydrated. All right, so number 8, as far as that goes, avoid heteronormative language and assumptions. So you may be hearing like, okay, Harry, you just said a really big word there, heteronormative. We make these mistakes a lot, and I actually think this will go into number 9 as well, so I'll mention number 9 and I'll tie these two together. The next one, number 9, is like learn about, use, and encourage others to use gender-neutral pronouns. Okay, so tying these two together. We live in a heteronormative society. What does that mean? We assume that most people are heterosexual. It's an assumption that's made. Or when we see someone that's like me, LGBTQ, it kind of makes us go, oh, a little bit. That's part of how our society is built. It goes further than that. When you think about if you're at work, if you're a faculty or staff member watching this video, and like behind you, you put pictures of your spouse. Obviously, Lady Barrow is not my spouse. She's just a painting. But anyway, follow along with me. If you put up pictures of your spouse or you have pictures of your family, things like that. As I was just talking about this past summer when we've had the big Supreme Court ruling, for many LGBTQ people, talking about their family or talking about their home life was something that they had to keep in the closet. They had to be very careful. People would take rings off, who have partners and things like that. So many of us assume, you hear about it in the workplace a lot, where it's like an LGBTQ person comes up and says, like, how's your husband or how's your wife doing? And imagine they're the opposite of that. And so it's part of our society. We just assume everyone is heterosexual. So I always say, try to not make those assumptions all the time, but also don't think everyone is LGBTQ either. So, like, don't take the slider and go the complete other way. But, we always make those mistakes, and we always think of, like, how are ways that we can make things much more inclusive and much more things like that. And so I've seen many faculty members do that lately, especially in the social sciences, like when they're talking about coupling or couples, they'll say partners, to kind of get rid of that stigma, and also making LGBTQ people feel like they're an other situation, where we're not. We're just like everybody else. We just have same-sex attraction. And so, in tying that in with gender-neutral pronouns, this is one of my spiels that I talk about all the time, is we do this as a society. I think about this as I see, of course you all can't see it, but I can see our postal carrier just outside my window here. And the first thing we're going to do is say, oh, the mailman's here. Well, actually, my postal carrier is a woman, and so calling her a mailman seems kind of off, don't you think? So, postal worker, postal carrier, that's gender neutral. That's a much more inclusive term. Like we do it, policeman, fireman, all of those different things. Police officer, firefighter. It's gender neutral. Men and women can do these jobs. They're not gender assigned or gender specific anymore. That's like a very outdated thing to do. And one of the ones that I know, this is Midwestern folks, I know this is going to be hard for you, but as a Southerner, I will encourage you to say y'all. Y'all is much more gender inclusive. I know when we start meetings, I see it a lot in the Midwest, and it's you guys. And I tell this story all the time, like, I'll be in a conference room or even on a Zoom call, and like, I'm the only guy there, but then people still say you guys. So I'm like, are you just speaking to me, or are you speaking to everyone else? So I encourage everyone, that's a hard one. That is a hard one to unlearn. I get it. Practice this. Midwestern folks, I love you to death, but practice this one the best you can. Y'all is gender inclusive. It's a Southern thing that we actually got right for a change, is y'all is gender inclusive. It's not specific to anyone. It's not saying you guys or you girls. That's the opposite. Gosh, that sounds even weirder. But y'all is a much more gender inclusive word. I encourage you to use it. And my favorite phrase with that is y'all means all. So it's gender inclusive. And number 10. We've made it to number 10, folks. I should have done this as like a top 10 list. Those are all over YouTube. That would have gotten me some traction here. But number 10, join and support a local or national LGBTQ advocacy organization. There's tons of them here. I could flood the screen with all the different ones, but I would like to name some of the local ones here in St. Louis that you can check out or join, because they'll be doing a lot of virtual activities over the coming months. First is Pride St. Louis. Check that one out. Next one is Promo, P-R-O-M-O. Check them out. And also the third one is MTUG, M-T-U-G. Check out those three organizations. They're local here in St. Louis. They're doing fantastic work for the LGBTQ plus community. If you're on campus and you're wanting to see, okay, I want to get involved a little more locally, doing some things off campus, cool. Check out those three organizations. They are fantastic, great ones to do. So I've made it to the end of my 10 best practices list, at least to go over with you for Involvement Week. So I want to recap them really quick. I'm going to go through. Number 1, celebrate your LGBTQ colleagues and students. Number 2, get Safe Zone trained. Number 3, learn best practices for supporting LGBTQ plus students. Number 4, show visual signs of being an LGBTQ affirming person on campus. Number 5, educate and continue to educate yourself. Number 6, learn about the issues, laws, and policies that impact the well-being of our LGBTQ colleagues and students. Number 7, see, I can't even count, y'all. Number 7, learn about campus and community resources that support LGBTQ communities. Number 8, avoid heteronormative language and assumptions. Number 9, learn about, use, and encourage others to use gender-neutral pronouns. And then, of course, wrapping us up at number 10, join and support a local or national LGBTQ advocacy organization. These are 10 ways, folks, that you can create a more inclusive UMSL campus for our LGBTQ community. Of course, there are many other ways. Narrowing it down to 10 is, of course, easy. But just watching this video, just participating in all of our LGBTQ events this school year are great ways to get involved. And, of course, bringing this all back around, once again, my name is Harry Hawkins, pronouns he, him, his, and I'm the LGBTQ plus coordinator here at UMSL. I hope that you've had a great start to the semester. I hope that you're enjoying Involvement Week. If you need anything, feel free to reach out at any time. I am your resource here on campus. Once again, folks, have a great Involvement Week, and if I don't see you, have a great rest of the semester. I have to go make a bacon sandwich now. See ya!